So we're going to start by putting wet areas on our paper. This is for our wet on wet technique. So we're just experimenting here. I've started to dab some watercolor onto the wet parts of my paper. Notice how the watercolor reacts differently to when it goes through water to when it's on blank paper. Experiment with adding different colors together. Notice how they bleed together. Bleeding is when two colors blend in water. Sometimes you can get cool effects doing this. Sometimes it happens accidentally. You have to be very careful when you're working with watercolor to have control over whether or not your paper is wet or dry. Try making different lines. The idea here is just to experiment and play around with different techniques. What might be some other ways you could describe what's happening with the wet on wet technique? How do the watercolors react? How is it different than other materials? Try making different marks. Try using different size brushes. Think of different things that would work well with this technique. Maybe blended sunsets, rivers. Mine is kind of looking like a seashell. Try and observe how the watercolor reacts.